Hey everyone. So today I'm just going to be reading a poem that I had actually written for my daughter back in January. It's not perfect. I'm not really good at writing, but this is just something that I came up with on my own, and I had intentions of hopefully saving it and showing it to her later on. So this poem, like I said, I wrote it back in January, and the poem is titled The Beginning. And here we go. Hope you guys like it. When I found out I was pregnant with you, it caught me by surprise. I thought it was just simple back pain or my anxiety on the rise. My period was late, but I figured it was just a reaction from the pill. Who would have known the words, "You're going to be a mom," is what the doctor would spell? I cried and a million thoughts went through my head. I was as happy as could be. All I thought about was who would you look like, him or me? I often wondered what your personality would be like. Every day imagined how everything was about to change in my life. I thought about how I would no longer feel depressed and alone, and I counted down the days and weeks till I could bring you home. Being a first time mom, I didn't know what to expect. Honestly, I was excited and never was filled with regret. I was filled with joy every time I'd go to the doctors and I got to see my beautiful baby girl kicking away and sucking on her feet. It seemed like every day my belly continued to grow. No matter how tired or sick I was, you always gave my face a happy glow. I loved those long nights of you moving around and kicking as you pleased. Those became moments I treasured. They meant so much to me. October 10th, 2013, at 3:30 in the morning, I stood up and my water broke. I freaked out and panicked, but your grandmother calmed me down. I honestly felt like I was having a stroke. I was happy but as nervous as could be. I couldn't believe I was getting closer and closer to seeing my baby. About a half hour later, the ambulance arrived and we were on our way. I couldn't believe, sorry, I couldn't believe that after patiently waiting, it finally was the day. After hours of your heart rate going up and down and 2 doses of medication, the contractions finally came. I slept for 2 hours, then that special moment was claimed. The moment I waited 9 long months for was finally here. After about 5 minutes of pushing, my beautiful Gabriella was finally here. I'll never forget the first moment I held you in my arms. I fell in love with your smell, and you felt so very warm. Every day that passed, I grew more and more attached. I loved seeing you smile and hearing that little laugh. Being a new mommy, there honestly was a lot that I didn't know. So I didn't know that you were hitting your milestones very slow. It took a while for you to say your first words. It took a while for you to crawl, and it took a while for you to talk. Fast forwarding to when you were the age of 2, you were able to walk, but unfortunately you struggled when you had to talk. A year passed, and then, my dear princess, you were 3. You still couldn't eat on your own, you needed help from mommy. You often walked on your toes and sometimes flapped your hands. You still couldn't talk that well, and you would get angry because no one could understand. You began to act out, but mommy couldn't see. You and I were both learning, you being a child and me being a mommy. People began to ask questions. Why isn't she talking? Why won't she use the potty? Something is off. You need to talk to her doctor, mommy. I argued with your doctor and told him something wasn't right. My baby was 3 years old and wasn't sleeping through the night. At the age of 4, you still weren't potty trained. I told your doctor I was concerned because everything was delayed. They brushed it off and told me I just needed to be more strict. But of course he would say that, after all, with him it never clicked. You didn't like noises. You didn't walk flat on your feet. You couldn't use the bathroom, and there were only certain things you would eat. You finally started talking more, and boy did it make me cry. But mommy wouldn't give up, and she continued to try. Finally, your doctor realized that something wasn't right. He gave me a referral, and shortly after, we got the news that would change your life. After fighting for over a year, we finally got the news. Turns out mommy wasn't being ridiculous. The doctors finally confirmed after several tests that you were autistic. Mommy will be completely honest. She cried and became distressed. But that didn't mean that I would love you any less. A few months later, mommy decided we should leave. We got in the car and drove 6 hours home. so we could be with family. Almost 2 years have passed and you've come so very far. A lot of people underestimated how smart you really are. I promise you, as long as I'm living, you will never live in fear. You will forever be protected. Baby, mommy will always be here. Every day I wonder what it's like being in Abby's world. Words cannot express how proud I am of mommy's little girl. And that was it. Like I said, I wrote it back in January, saved it in, you can't really see, but I saved it in my files on my old phone. So I would have it because, in the past I did write things for her. And unfortunately, I had written everything down on paper and I lost it. So I'm hoping that this is something that I can keep for a long time. Um, and like I said, I'm not the best at writing poems. And um, I tried. It's just something that came from the heart. But thank you for taking the time to listen. Hope you guys liked it.